Hi everybody! So today I'm going to show you to make this little bee doll. It's a much smaller doll than what I already have on my channel, so compared to my other ones, she's tinier. From the tip of the antenna to the bottom of the foot, she's about 6 inches tall. This is the one that I'm going to be showing you how to create in today's video, and I've added my magic ring Wildflowers that you can find this video on my channel or the link for it down below in the description box. I did add a second band, so doubled bands, when I looped it around my hook just to have a fuller look. These are the supplies that you're going to need to create this. Yellow, black, white. The safety eyes that I'm using is 12mm, or you can use a 9mm pony bead. So I'm going to get started, and I do hope you enjoy. First thing we're going to do is make the arms, and I'm going to show you to do one, and then you're going to pause the video to make yourself another. We're going to start off doing 6 single crochets in the magic ring, and I'm going to use the bottom part of my loom. So I'm going to take my first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to pull 6 bands through one at a time. You're going to reach in, bring your first band through, end on your hook and your top loop over. Bring it to the side. Make sure you're not pulling. Back in for your second band. Bring it through, end on your hook, and now bring the top 2 loops over. Bring it to the side, and just continue. Back in, bring your band through, end on your hook, and top 2 loops over. You want to attach your stitch marker now to the band that's around your hook. Remove off the loom, sorry, and move your bands around. You should have 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is on your hook. For rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, you're going to add 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. So in each pile I have 6 bands. So at the end of each round you should have 6 stitches. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it off. I'm going to do round 2 with you, and you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. When I'm done round 2, I'm going to do the slip knot with you and add 2 sewing bands. So let me just do round 2 with you. I'm going to go in my first chain and just bring a band through. So at the end of each round you should have 6 stitches. Next chain with 1. All the way until you get to the stitch marker. And the last one. So you should have 6 stitches. You can remove that stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. Now you'll want to continue with the rest of the steps, but I am going to show you the slip knot. So I'm going to just pretend I finished all of it. I'm just going in my last chain with the last band for round 7 and bring it through all of the loops and tie it off. Now you're going to add 2 sewing bands. So you want to bring your slip knot to the side, and I'm just going to go through the center stitches here on one side, right out to the next stitch on either side here. And I'm going to bring my band through and tie it off. Now I need another one right at the end, so I'm just going to grab 2 of the stitches on one side. If I grab the other side here, which you can, but it'll end up leaving like a gap, so I'm only going to grab one side. So I only have 2 loops, and I'm going to do a slip knot. And don't pull too hard, but you want to secure that knot. So you're going to pause the video, come back to me when you're done. Round 1 of the legs, I'm going to show you to do 1, and then you're going to pause the video to make yourself another. I'm going to start off with 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'm going to use one band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now pull 5 bands through one at a time. Again, you're just reaching in, grabbing your first band, bringing it through, and end on your hook. Top loop over. Bring it to the side, and continue. Go back in, second band, bring through, end on your hook. And now you're going to be bringing 2 loops over the top 2 and bring it to the side. Back in, same thing. End on your hook, top 2 loops over. You want to attach your stitch marker to this band that's around your hook, remove off the loom, and you should have 5 stitches. Move your bands around. For round 2, you're going to increase on each chain around. So on each chain, you're adding 2 bands. 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. So at the end of round 2, you're going to have 10 stitches. So let's start on our first chain. You're going to go in, and you're going to bring your first band through, a single crochet, go back in that same chain to add the second band. So you can see this is the same chain. Bring your second band through. Now we're going on to chain 2. 2 bands, one at a time. Back in that same chain for your second band. The third chain, 2 bands. So you're doing 2 single crochets in each chain. Now the next chain. Back in. And the last chain where your stitch marker is. Back in. So I've used 10 bands, so I should have 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is on my hook. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to do 4 single crochets in the first 4 chains. Then you're going to do 2 increases, followed by 4 single crochets, and you'll reach your stitch marker. So let's go with the first. 1 band in the first 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next chain. Your third chain. And your 4th chain. Now you're going to do 2 increases. So in each one of these 2 chains here, you're going to add 2 bands one at a time. Back in that same chain. And the next chain, 2 bands. Back in. So now I have 4 chains left. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I have 4 bands left. Add 1 band in each chain until you get to the stitch marker. You should have 12 stitches. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, you're going to do 12 single crochets. So at the end of round 4, you're going to have 12 stitches. You're just adding 1 band to each chain, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. And I have 6 here and total of 12. So let's go in our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and you're just bringing one band through each chain until you get to the stitch marker. You should have 12 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 5, we're going to decrease on this round. We're going to decrease to 10 stitches. So we're going to do 4 single crochets first in the first 4 chains. Then I'm going to do the invisible decrease method. So I'm going to stitch 5 and 6 together. So I'm going to need an extra band. And then I'm going to stitch 7 and 8 together. So I'm going to use an extra band. And then I'm going to end with 4 single crochets. So that will leave us with 10 stitches. So let's do our first, go in the first 4 chains with 1 band in each. Do 4 single crochets. Wow, that wasn't coming out. 4 single crochets. And my 4th. So now I'm at chains 5. I'm going to stitch 5 and 6 together by doing slip stitches and leaving it on my hook. So I'm going to go in this next chain here, chain 5, do a slip stitch, don't pull too hard, and leave it on your hook. You're going to chain 6 now and doing a slip stitch and leave it on your hook. When you get 3 stitches on your hook, you're going to slide. Now you're going to do the same to chain 7 and 8. Slip stitch. Next chain, slip stitch. 3 loops and slide. Now you're going to end with 4 single crochets, so 1 band in each chain until you get to your stitch marker. And the last. So you should have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. Before we start round 6, what we're going to do is add a little bit of stuffing to the foot area. So you can see all I have is a little bit of stuffing to this area just to get the shape, but I'm not going to be adding any stuffing to the leg. So you want to take a little bit just to fill and get that shape. You don't want too much. It's quite empty in here, if you can see. Now for round 6, what we're going to do is a single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. So I'm adding an extra band. Single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. Single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. And where your stitch marker is, you're adding 1 band. So on every second and third chain, you're going to do your slip stitches, leave it on your hook. When you get the 3 loops, then you're going to slide. So I'm going to go on my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and just do a single crochet. So at the end of this round, you're going to have 7 stitches. Now chains 2 and 3, do a slip stitch, leave it on your hook, chain 3 here, slip stitch, then 3 loops and slide. And you're going to repeat. Single crochet, slip stitches, and repeat. Now where my stitch marker is, I'm just doing a single crochet. So you should have 7 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, you're going to do 7 single crochets. So in each pile, I have 7 bands. What you're going to do is just add 1 band to each chain. So at the end of each round, you're going to have 7 stitches. Your last band, you're going to take and just do a slip knot. So you're just going to go in your last chain, grab your band, and bring it through all of the loops and tie it off. So again, no stuffing inside the legs. So I'm going to do round 7 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So go in your first chain, outwards getting pulled, and just do a single crochet until you get to your stitch marker. You can remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. Pause the video, continue, and come back to me when you're done. Round 1 of the body, we're going to start off with attaching the legs together. I'm going to do 14 single crochets because we have 7 on this leg and 7 on this leg. So when we attach them together, we're going to have 14 stitches. So I'm using 14 bands. This is how my pattern's going to go, and most of the dolls, it's the exact same way. You're going to grab the 2 center stitches, and you're going to go this way. So start, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You will end up in the center, and you'll end up stitching on the yellow band from this one. So let's just do this part here. What I'm going to do is fold these legs in half. You're going to grab the center 2 chains here, and those are the ones that is right here. So I'm going to grab on one side. Your slip knots might be in a different section than mine. So I'm going to grab one end, on one leg, and fold this in half and find my 2 center stitches. These 2 is what I'll be using. So I have my legs together, and the fronts are facing me. I'm going to do a single crochet starting here. Bring your band through both of the chains on your hook and slide. Now the next stitch right above on either side, do a single crochet through the chains on your hook and slide. Now you're going to go to your next chain and go around. Make sure you're going on either side of your slip knots. They might be in a different spot. So this is my 7th band. Now chain 8, or your 8th stitch, is going to be on that yellow, and it's going to be the one that's facing here, the bottom. That's what you're going to be grabbing. So you're going to go in, so I'm not grabbing the black here, I'm grabbing the yellow. And my 8th stitch. So it's going to be, it'll look like this. Now, We're on the 9th, and you're just going around your last band. You're going to add your stitch marker. For our next stitch, I'm going to be grabbing the black chain right beside it. I've already used this chain before, so you can see on my first stitch here, but I am going to grab it again. Make sure you go on the other side of your slip knot. So this is what you should have. I'm going to attach my stitch marker to the span that's around my hook, and you should have 14 stitches. I'm going to show you the stitches on the next round. For round 2, we're going to increase to 21 stitches, and I'm using the yellow. Right now you have 14 stitches. So the pattern is going to be a single crochet followed by an increase. 1, 2, 1, 2. You're going to repeat this pattern 7 times. So you'll have 21 stitches when you're done. Where we're going to start is this yellow stitch right here. This yellow one, that is going to be chain 1. And you're going to do a single crochet. Chain 2, you're coming on the other side here. And you're going to do your increase. So you're adding 2 bands one at a time. 2 single crochets in that chain. Back in. And repeat. 1, 2. Back in. Now your chains are very visible, so you're just going to continue the pattern until you get to the stitch marker. So you should have 21 stitches now. You want to remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, and you could probably just go in and just grab these black slip knots and bring it inside. So I'm just going right beside to bring them inside. For round 3, I'm going to change to black. I'm going to do 21 single crochets. So I have 7, 14, and total of 21. So you're just doing 21 single crochets around. And you'll end with 21 stitches. I'm changing color, so I'm going to start off with a slip stitch. I'm going to go on my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and I'm going to bring my first band through all the loops that are on my hook, grab the end, and just slide, don't pull. Now just go around on each chain until you get to your stitch marker. So 21 stitches, remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to decrease to 18 stitches, and I'm using the black color. I'm not going to be doing the invisible decrease method, I'm just going to stitch my stitches together. So we're going to do 4 single crochets and stitch 5 and 6 together. 4 single crochets and 5 and 6 together. You're going to repeat that 3 times. Then you're going to end with 3 single crochets. So let's do the first row. We're going to do 4 single crochets, 1 band in the first 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You want to go in your black chain, not the slip knot, and bring your band through. Chain 2 with 1. Chain 3 with 1. Chain 4. Now you're going to take 5 and 6 and stitch together. So from the center out, back to the center, grab the next chain. And bring your loop through both of those chains. You can slide the body to the center of that band with your finger, grab the end, and slide. You're going to repeat 4 single crochets and 5 and 6 together. Now 5 and 6 together. And repeat again. Five and 6 together. And you should have 3 chains left. 1, 2, and 3. Add 1 band until you get to the stitch marker. I caught on to mine. And the last. So again, you should have 18 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 5 and 6, I'm going to change to yellow again, and I'm going to do 18 single crochets. So adding 1 band to each chain until you get to your stitch marker. You're going to start off with a slip stitch because you're changing color, and I'm going to do part of round 5 with you, and then you can pause the video, continue, and come back to me when you're done. So I'm going to go on my first chain, bring my first band through, all the loops, and slide. Don't pull. And continue going around. So you're going to pause the video, continue until you get to the stitch marker, do round 6, and then come back to me when you're done. For round 7, I'm going to decrease to 15 stitches, and I'm changing to black. I'm going to do 3 single crochets and stitch 4 and 5 together. 3 single crochets and stitch 4 and 5 together. You're going to repeat that 3 times. And then you're going to end with 3 single crochets. So I'm going to go in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bring my first band through all of the loops and do a slip stitch. Don't pull. Next chain. And my third chain. Now take chains 4 and 5 and stitch together. And repeat. Make sure you're not going in that same chain. Stitch 4 and 5 together. And repeat one more time. Four and 5 together. And you have 3 chains left. You want to add 1 band to each. So you have 15 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 8, I'm using the black color, and I'm going to do 15 single crochets, so 1 band in each chain all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. I have 15 bands here, so 5, 10, and 15. So you should have 15 stitches when you're done. Just going to go on my first chain, not my slip knot. I'm going to go through the first chain and just bring 1 band through. And then you can go around each chain until you get to the stitch marker. You have 15 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. Round 9, the last round for the body, I'm going to use yellow, and I'm going to decrease this round to 12 stitches. I'm going to start off with a slip stitch because I'm changing color, and I'm going to do 2 single crochets and stitch 3 and 4 together. 2 single crochets, 3 and 4 together, and I'm going to repeat that 3 times. I'm going to end with 3 single crochets. In my last band, I'm going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So let's do the first part, 2 single crochets starting with a slip stitch. Don't go where it's getting pulled. In your first chain, bring your band through all the loops on your hook and slide. Chain 2 with a single crochet. Now take chains 3 and 4 and stitch together. And repeat. 2 single crochets, and 3 and 4 together. Repeat one more time. Three and 4 together. And I have 3 chains left, 3 bands left. Do 3 single crochets, last band slip knot. slip knot. Remove your stitch marker. I lost my stitch marker. Now you want to add a little bit of stuffing to fill just the body area. Just fill it until you don't want to see the stuffing coming through. You want to make sure that it's evenly around. And I'm just going to leave it like that. Round 1 at the head, we're going to start off with 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So my first band, I'm going to wrap around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to pull 6 bands through, one at a time. Reaching in, bringing your first band through, end on your hook, top loop over. And back in. Second band through, end on your hook, and now bringing the top 2 loops over, bringing it to the side. And then just continue. Attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook, and remove off the loom. You should have 6 stitches. You want to move your band around. For round 2, we're going to increase to 12 stitches. So I have 6 sections here, double bands on each. So you're going to add 2 bands to each chain around. So you're doing an increase on each chain until you get to your stitch marker. You want to go on your first chain, add 2 bands, one at a time. Back in to add your second band. Now chain 2, again add 2 bands, one at a time. Back in. Chain 3, again your increase all the way until you get to the stitch marker. Next chain. So you can see I have 2 chains left and 2 sections left. Again, you should have 12 stitches, and remove your stitch marker. Add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase to 18 stitches. So the pattern is going to be a single crochet followed by an increase, single crochet followed by an increase, and you're going to repeat this pattern 6 times. So I'm going to go on my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and just bring 1 band through. That's my single crochet. Chain 2 is your increase, back in, and repeat 1, 2. Continue until you get to your stitch marker. So you should have 18 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to increase to 21 stitches. So we're going to do 4 single crochets followed by an increase. 4 single crochets followed by an increase, and you're going to repeat that 3 times. After you've done that, you're going to do 3 single crochets until you get to your stitch marker. So I'm going to go in my first chain and do my single crochet. I'm going to repeat that in the next 3 chains. Now in my 5th chain, I'm adding 2 bands, one at a time. And again, 4 single crochets followed by an increase. My increase, and repeat again. I have 3 chains left. Add 1 band to each. Again, you should have 21 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 5, you're going to do 21 single crochets. So you're adding you're adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. I'm going to do part of this round with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So going in the first chain, 1 band. Next chain. So I have 21 bands here, so you should have 21 stitches when you're done. And change this band. It was very thin. And now just continue until you get to the stitch marker. For round 6, we're going to do 21 single crochets, and we're going to add the eyes on. Now, if you are using beads or bands, I will be using the safety eyes, but I'm going to use these as my guiding bands. So I'm going to add the eyes on chains 8 and 12. So right here I have 21 bands, 7, 14, and 21. So here's 7. You're going to add it on chain 8, which I'm just going to do now. I'm going to wrap this around my hook. You can, if you're doing bands, you probably want to wrap it around 4 times and slide it onto a yellow. So that's chain 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I'm just going to use the scissors after to cut them. It just helps me find the placement. If you can do without, you don't have to add the band. So I'm going to go in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and I'm just going to add 1 band to each until I get to my stitch marker. Because I have my eyes laid out in the proper placement, I'm just going to continue going around. So I've just done 7 single crochets. Chain 8 is with the eye. Chain 9, chain 10, chain 11, and chain 12, the next eye. And now continue going around until you get to the stitch marker. You should have 21 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 7, 8, and 9, you're going to do 21 single crochets, so adding 1 band to each chain around, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. I'm going to do part of round 7 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and complete the rest of the rounds and come back to me when you're done. So for round 7, I'm going to go in my first chain, just 1 band in each until I get to the stitch marker. So just to point out, I have 21 bands in each pile. So at the end of each round, you're going to have your 21 stitches. So you want to continue going around until you get to the stitch marker. Pause the video and come back to me when you're done. Before I start round 10, if you did use beads, you'd want to push them through the little V that's underneath if you used beads or even bands. And just so they're not sticking right out through the little V, just push them through. So it'll be flush with the face. For round 10, we're going to decrease to 18 stitches. So the pattern is 4 single crochets and stitch 5 and 6 together. 4 single crochets and stitch 5 and 6 together. You're going to repeat that 3 times, and then you're going to end with 3 single crochets. So you'll have 18 stitches when you're done. Let's do the first row. 4 single crochets first, 1 band in the first 4 chains here. Now stitch 5 and 6 together. Repeat 4 single crochets and 5 and 6 together. Five and 6 together. Again. Five and 6. Oops. I'm going to do that again. Three chains left now, 3 bands left. So you should have 18 stitches. You remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 11, we're going to do 18 single crochets. So adding one band to each chain, one, all the way around. So I have 18 bands here, 6, 12, and 18. I'm going to do part of the round with you, and then you're going to pause the video. So going in your first chain, the next chain, all the way until you get to your stitch marker. So you want to pause the video, continue until you get to your stitch marker, and then come back to me when you're done. Now for round 12, this is our last round. We're going to decrease this round to 12 stitches. So I'm going to do a single crochet and stitch 2 and 3 together. Single crochet, stitch 2 and 3 together. And I'm going to repeat this pattern 6 times. So you'll have 12 stitches when you're done. Your last band, do a slip knot to tie it closed. Going in the first chain, single crochet, and stitch 2 and 3 together. Repeat, single crochet, and 2 and 3 together. And continue like that until you get to the stitch marker. This is my last band, so I'm going to stitch my stitches together and do a slip knot to tie it closed. Bring it through all the loops and tie it off. And remove your stitch marker. Now if you are using the safety eyes, you'd want to add them on now, and you can add your stuffing to the head. What I'm going to do is add the eyes on one side in the center and the other one on the other side of the eye. And you can add your backing. I am going to cut this black band very, very carefully so I don't end up cutting the head. And then you can just remove the band. When you add the stuffing, be careful you don't overstuff. So you don't see it through. I'm just going to add the backing. And I need another backing. And you can go ahead and add the stuffing. Now we're going to attach the head to the body. I'm using 12 bands in total. So I have 6 and 6 is 12. I'm going to take the body first, having the feet face one way. So I'm at the back, and I'm going to fold the body in half and find the stitch that's at the center back that's going sideways. And I put my hook through. So that's where I'm going to start. And the same thing with the head. The eyes are here. You want to center it out and find that stitch in the center back that's going sideways. And I'm going to do a single crochet all the way around to each chain. I'm going to go in the next stitch on the body, the next stitch on the head, and single crochet. The next stitch on the body, the next stitch on the head, and single crochet. The last band, you want to do a slip knot to tie it closed. I am grabbing the black band because that's on the other side of my slip knot, and it's because I didn't do a complete round, so make sure you, when you get to yours, you do the same thing. Last band, bring it through all of the loops that are on your hook and tie it off. So all these slip knots, you can just go inside and come out beside them, the slip knots, and hide them all. And just tuck them away, and you could do that with the last. Now these parts are up to you. I'm going to add a mouth, you can add the eyebrows, and I am just going to add a little tail to the back. So those are optional for whatever pieces that you would like to do. So I'm going to do the tail first. I'm just going to go and grab 2 of the stitches somewhere here, and I'm just going to bring double bands through and grab the end and tie it off with a single black band. And then I'm just going to go through the stitch here, go between the chain, and grab my little slip knot and hide it. And for the mouth, I'm just going to go through, one of the stitches here centered, and I'm just going to skip a stitch. So you're going to see that little stitch, and you're going to bring a single band through, find your placement of where you'd like to go, and I'm going to tie it off with a yellow band so it hides nicely in the face. And then you can fix that up. For the eyebrows, same thing. You're just going across the same as the mouth for the eyebrows. So I'm just going to go, and I'm just going to, how did I do this? I went through one of the stitches and I skipped a stitch. So kind of like that. And I'm going to bring a black band through, grab the end, and tie it off, and then hide the yellow band. And then you can find your placement. You fool around with that one, and then you can do the other side the same. Now for the antennas, I'm going to do both with you. So I'm going to start off with this one first, and they are directly crocheted, I'm going to say, around the head. So I'm using the stitches on the head. There's my magic ring. So I'm going to start off with the black color, and I'm going to grab 5 of the stitches on the head, so I'm going to use 5 black bands. So right here is your magic ring. So I'm going to start over here, 1 stitch over, and I'm just going to make kind of like a circle, 5 stitches around. So that was more towards the front. Now I'm going to grab the next stitch that's on the other side of the magic ring. So I'm going to grab right here so I can make a nice circle. So I'm not grabbing this next stitch right here. I'm going to go right over here. So on the other side of the magic ring. So if you're looking at your magic ring, I grabbed 1 stitch that's attached to the magic ring and the next stitch that's attached to the magic ring there. So I'm just trying to make a circle. So I'm just going to go right below to the next stitch on the head. And the next stitch over. So I just did 3 stitches. So I'm going to grab 4. And I'm going to grab 5. So I'm going to grab right here. I'm not grabbing that center stitch that's in the middle. So I'm just trying to make a circle. So if I kind of undo this, you're going to see, maybe, hoping, that I just kind of made like a little circle, an even circle. So I'm just going to grab my stitches again. Now for rounds 2 and 3, I'm using black, and I'm going to do 5 single crochets. So each pile I have 5 bands. If you need to, you could add the stitch marker to the band that's around your hook. I'm not going to use it because it's so small. So you're just going to grab each chain and do a single crochet all the way around. Take your time. So I still have my opening in there. So you want to make sure you didn't catch the wrong side. Now you can continue with round 3, going around 5 single crochets. And you should still have your opening, and you should still have 5 stitches. Now for round 4 of the antenna, I'm going to increase this to 8 stitches. So the pattern is going to be a single crochet in your first chain. Then your next 3 chains, you're doing your increase, and your last chain, you're doing a single crochet. So you should end up with 8 stitches. So I'm going to go in my first chain, add 1 band. I'm changing the color, so I'm going to bring it through all of the stitches that are on my hook. I'm going to go to the next chain and add 2 bands, 1 at a time. Back in. So I have 2 chains in that 1 stitch. I'm going to do that to the next. Back in. The next. I'm going to have to open it up. Back in. And my last one with a single crochet. For round 5, we're going to decrease this round to 4 stitches. So what I'm going to do is 2 single crochets, and then I'm going to stitch the next 3 stitches together. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to stitch the last 3 stitches together, and you're going to be doing a slip stitch and leave it on your hook. When you have your 4 stitches, then you're going to slide it. So let's do the first 2. I'm going to go in my first chain here and a single crochet. My next stitch, single crochet. Now the next 3 stitches I'm going to stitch together by doing a slip stitch in each and leave it on my hook. Slip stitch. Slip stitch. And slip stitch. When you have 4 loops, then you're going to slide. You're going to repeat your last 3 stitches, slip stitch, next slip stitch, 3 loops, and 1 more, so you have 4. So now I have 4 stitches on my hook, now slide. So you're going to have 4 stitches left. Don't worry about counting them or finding them. I'm going to show you what to do next. For round 6, we're going to use a single band just to tie it off. So if you have your little bee facing you, you're going to see your little hole. All I'm going to do is go to the next stitch over. So I'm going to find one of these stitches. You can go even directly across. And you're going to take your band and do a slip knot to tie it closed. I'm going to flatten it. I'm going to go from the back right out the front, right beside that slip knot. And I'm going to bring it through to the other side. And I'm just going to try to hide it now. I'm not doing so good at hiding it. Now for the other antenna, I'm going to do the exact same thing that we did here, but our placement is just going to be a little bit different. We want to now make sure that we're even with the side. So what I'm going to do is, here's the magic ring. I'm going to go right across to the next stitch. So this one is not actually attached to the magic ring. So I'm just going to start here, and I'm going to do 5 single crochets around. Oops. So you can find your placement first if you'd like. Maybe that's what I'll do right now. We want to be even with our next one over. So that's 2. Now we want to make our circle. So I'm going to go over to the next stitch. So if you don't like your placement, you can just kind of undo it. So I have 2 more bands. I want to just with my eyes figure out where I want to go. So I'm going to go here. And then I'm just going to go here. So I have 5. So I'm just going to grab them. And I want to make sure that it's kind of even with this side. Now for rounds 2 and 3, you're doing 5 single crochets, so you just want to go around in a circle, adding 1 band to each chain. Now for round 3, go around again, 5 single crochets in each chain. Now we're at our increase. We're going to increase to 8 stitches, and I'm using yellow. So I'm going to start off with a slip stitch. We're going to do a single crochet followed by 3 increases and ending with a single crochet. So I'm going to go on my first chain, single crochet, bringing my band through all of the loops. My next chain, 2 bands, back in, chain 3, 2 bands, and chain 4, 2 bands. And chain 5, 1 single crochet. Should have 8 stitches. For round 5, we're going to decrease to 4 stitches. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets, then stitch 3 stitches together. And then, again, we're going to do that one more time. Our last 3 stitches, we're going to stitch together by doing the slip stitch and then sliding. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets first in the first 2 chains. Next chain. Now the next 3 chains, do a slip stitch and leave it on your hook. When you have 4 stitches, that's when you slide. Four stitches, slide, and one more time. 4 stitches and then slide. Now you can go to your next stitch over and tie it off. Bring it through all the loops, grab your end and slide. And then again, you can just hide your little slip knot. Now we're going to attach the arms, and when I did this one, I did a little slip knot to keep the arm in place. I didn't want them kind of sticking out, so that's up to you if you want to do that. I'm going to take my first arm, and for each arm you're going to need a single band to tie it off. And I'm going to do both with you. I'm going to bring the arm to the side here. Find which bands I need to pull my sewing bands through. So you're going to need to find 3 stitches on the body. So I'm going to go through the black at the top here and bring my first band through. I'm going to go the next stitch over, bring my second sewing band through, and then slide. Third stitch on the body, bring my band through, and slide. Before you tie it off, you want to make sure that it's at the side. You don't want it towards the front. What I'm going to do is grab the sewing band on the arm and do a slip knot to secure it. See, this is why I stuck it to the body, because that's how I wanted it to go. So now, the next one, you want to find an even placement. So we want it the same as the other arm, and the same at the sides. Ooh. So you want to find, sorry about that, you want to find 3 stitches. Lucky, lucky. And I'm going to go through the stitches on the body here, grab my next sewing band and slide through the first. And the next stitch. And slide. Making sure that it's the same, even with the other one. And again, grab your sewing band and bring your band through. Oh, sorry, you want to do a slip knot. I said sewing band. And bring your band through and slide. So now you can hide these bands by going through the arm, going out beside the slip knot, and bringing it through to hide it. But I am going to show you, all I did was just do a slip knot to secure the arms to the body. Again, optional, just grabbing one of the stitches at the center on the arm and right in the center here on the side of the body. And I'm going to bring a band through both of these loops here, grab the end, and tie it off. And hide the slip knot by going through the body. And you can do that again to the other side. And I grab center of the arm, center on the side here of the body. Making sure that each arm is the same. And I go from the back to the front just to hide that slip knot. And you want to make sure for the head, push it down. You can push in the eyes, but you want to make sure that the form of the head is nice and down, not sticking straight up. Now we're going to do the wings. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a single chain directly on the body with 6 bands, and I'm using white color. So in the center of the body, I'm just going to use the chain wherever you would prefer to go. I'm going to use this yellow chain right below the back, and it's in the center of the body. And I'm going to make a chain of 6. With your last band, you're going to slide. For round 2 of the wing, I'm going to do a double crochet in each chain, just going reverse until the end. In each chain, you're using 3 bands in total. So what I'm going to do is on the top section, I'm going to go in my next chain. I'm going to bring a band through that chain and on my hook. So you have 3 loops. Now I'm going to bring my second band through these 2 chains and then on my hook. So just through the first 2 and on my hook. So you'll have 3 loops now, and you're going to bring your last band through all of those loops and slide. On your hook and slide. You're going to repeat to the next chain. So make sure you're not going in that chain again. You want to go in your next chain. You're going to bring a band through your chain on your hook. Bring your second band through those first 2 chains. Third band through all of the loops. On your hook and slide. Go to the next chain. Bring your band through the chain and on your hook. Next band is through those 2 chains at the end and on your hook and slide. You have 2 chains left. Oh, I did that wrong. Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm going to redo that one. I'm sorry. I'm going to bring my band through my chain on my hook, band through those 2, and band through all 3 and slide. You have 2 chains left. Go through your chain, band through the chain, second band through those 2 end loops and on your hook, and last band through all of the loops on your hook and slide. 1 chain left, go through, on your hook, band through those last 2 chains and on your hook, and last band through all of the loops on your hook and slide. Now we're going to make the other wing, and you should have this band still on your hook. So I'm going to repeat the steps what I just did for this one on the other side. It will be growing on the other side. So where you went in the center here, what I'm going to do is just go to the next stitch over on the yellow. Keeping this on my hook, and I'm going to grab my stitch. Now I'm going to do a chain of 6. So the first band is going to go through all of these loops, the yellow there and that white. And now create your chain. So you should have a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Last band, slide. For round 2, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a double crochet. So each one of my piles here, I have 3 bands. And you have your 5 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to make sure that you're going to do this on the top of the stitches. I'm a little bit awkward, so you may be too, but you can do this. Just reverse, go in, first band through the chain and on your hook. Second band through those top 2 loops only and on your hook. Last band, bring it through all of the loops on your hook and slide. Now make sure you're going to the next chain over and repeat. I dropped it. Make sure you're going to the next chain over. You have 2 chains left, 2 sections left. One chain left. Now I'm going to tie this off. So what I'm going to do is grab onto the white band that we brought over to that yellow there and just bring your band through all of the loops and tie it off. You can loosen up some of this tension. And just hide your band. Now, if you want to, you can do like a little slip knot, which I might recommend so it doesn't keep coming over. All I'm going to do is go through the white on one side, grab a black, and go through the white on the other side. Just grabbing 2 of the bands there. And bring a band through and do a slip knot. And that should secure it a little bit. And then you can hide your band. Now for the magic flowers, or the little flowers that I do have this on my channel. So you can take a look at that. The link will be down below in the description box, or up above this video, you'll see it in the iCards. So I'm just going to, this is what I showed you how to make. For the stem, I went down 4 times, single band, doubled, and the 4th band, I just kind of did the slip knot. So you can go through. For the boy, I kind of added a little red bow if you'd like, and for the girl, I wanted to add little yellow ones. But she's done. So I do hope that you enjoyed. Please subscribe down below. I have a lot more designs to load. And I'll see you next time with another. Bye for now.